These are scenes you rarely see in this part of New Delhi, an affluent corner of the capital normally far removed from activism. But today, students, activists and the general public have taken to the streets to protest a crime they say has sadly become commonplace.
We are not protesting here because the girl was raped yesterday, but we are protesting here because this is an everyday issue. My father calls me up 6 times in a day just to check where am I, and if I'm reaching back home safely.
Police say a 23-year-old medical student was raped by several men in a moving bus over the weekend. According to investigators, she and a male friend boarded the bus just after 9 in the evening when they were both brutally attacked. She was raped repeatedly. Both were then stripped and thrown off the bus. There were no other passengers on the bus, and the bus driver is among the accused.
Hundreds of Delhi students have gathered at the location where the incident took place. As you can see, they've completely blocked off traffic. This would normally be a very busy intersection in South Delhi. They're now demanding justice and saying enough is enough.
Delhi has always been notorious for its high rate of crime against women. Government figures show the capital accounted for 23% of rape cases amongst all Indian cities in 2011. But the gruesome nature of this attack has caused outrage even in Parliament.
I'm ashamed. I personally feel very, very ashamed that I'm sitting in this house and I'm helpless and I'm not being able to do anything.
A survey conducted in partnership with a UN agency found 2 out of every 3 women in New Delhi have been sexually harassed up to 5 times in 1 year.
I can talk about my own experience as a student in this city, that you go by bus, somebody is pinching you, somebody is touching you, somebody is coming close to you. I mean, this is absolutely, the mentality where you just look at women's body as an object of sex and you want to just abuse.
Activists blame it on attitudes towards women, inadequate policing, and the low conviction rate for rape. In this case, the police have arrested 4 of the accused and 2 are still absconding. Theoretically, it's possible, but practically it's impossible to stop and check every truck, every bus, and every car, he says. Protesters here, though, are demanding better security and hoping the very public outcry around this brutal case will finally trigger more action.
The gang rape of the 23-year-old girl in a moving bus in the national capital has sparked outrage and shock among people across the country. A visibly irate protester, Shireen, a college student, said that the authorities were preventing them from protesting but were not doing anything to prevent the cause of their protest, that is, the crime against women.
सुरक्षा की मांग है, वो हमारा फंडामेंटल राइट है, राइट टू लाइफ. प्रोटेस्ट हमको करने नहीं दिया जाता है, रेप करने दिया जाता है हर जगह.
Other people across the nation also raised their voice against the ghastly act.
Delhi is it has always been said that Delhi is not safe for women. And in spite of being a woman, in spite of having a women chief minister in Delhi, still if Delhi is not safe for women, it's totally a shameful thing for women fraternity. This incident, definitely yesterday's incident is very much shameful, and from this incident the government, even there are so many of incidents previously happened in Delhi. And still the government is not taking any measures, and I think this is a high time for the government and the authority and the Delhi authority to take some very much strong step regarding those kind of incidents against women.
हमको नहीं लगता कि अभी इतना महिलाओं के लिए इतना ये आयोग बनाया जाता है, इतना लड़ाइयाँ होती है कि महिला सेफ है, सिर्फ हमको नहीं लगता कि सेफ है. रास्ते में चलते हैं तो आज भी लड़के ऐसे मुड़ के देखते हैं, गाली गलौज मुंह में ऐसे गंदे गंदे बातें करती है. हमको नहीं लगता कि लड़के आजकल सेफ है.
While condemning the ghastly act, Samajwadi Party MP Jaya Bachchan broke down in Rajya Sabha.
This is not fair, sir. Whenever we come to a discussion about women, for last 3 days I've been asking, I'm not being allowed in various forms. I'm sorry, sir. This is a very important subject. How is it that we take up other political subjects? Rajya Sabha is not meant for this. Rajya Sabha is meant for issues like this. We have to discuss it. This is the problem. And because of our attitude in the House, the women are being treated in such disrespectful manner in this country. I'm sorry, I protest.
Meanwhile, in the midst of nationwide protests and outrage, Delhi Police Commissioner Neeraj Kumar said that the 4 accused who have been caught will be tried in a fast-track court with day-to-day hearings. He also added that the police would seek life imprisonment.
हम लोग कोर्ट में ये दरखास्त करेंगे कि इस केस को फास्ट ट्रैक ट्रायल किया जाए, डे टू डे बेसिस पर इसका ट्रायल हो और जल्द से जल्द इन लोगों को सजा मिल सके.
This is one of the world's most dynamic countries. But even as India's economy powers it ahead, its social attitude towards women reveals a dark and regressive side.
Assaults against women are reported almost every day, and Delhi takes the lead. 635 cases of rape have taken place this year, more than in any other Indian city. Women are sexually harassed on public transport and on the street.
After such an incident, I think I'll never travel in a bus or maybe even take an auto, because this can happen to any girl, maybe me. I was sitting in a bus and there was one guy who was touching my breast, and I was become numb, totally numb, and I don't know what was happening to me. And I was looked at him and I was like, I started crying. That was the worst thing happening in my life.
Many say attitudes of those at the very top are to blame. This view from Delhi's police chief.
If we go into rape as a phenomena, we'll go into areas which would not be very proper at this moment. We will have to say several things which are not politically correct. So let us abstain from talking about rape as a phenomena.
But living in denial may no longer be an option. Officials have promised a speedy trial, but people are clamouring for more, even the death penalty for those convicted of rape. An outpouring of grief on Delhi streets, stunned into silence after this latest horrific attack. The brutal assault on the young medical intern has shocked Indians. Now they're fighting back and demanding action.
They came in their hundreds to mourn a young woman brutalized and to show their anger towards authorities who for years haven't seemed to care. Neither the cold nor the government's warnings against demonstrations nor street blockades could put them off.
The sorry state of the nation is that we today are fighting for a basic human right, that is right to security, and it is just not limited to women or one girl, it is for the nation at large.
They pledged that the unnamed student's death would serve as a wake-up call for a country in denial about the levels of violence women face.
The mood here is somber and emotional, but there's a sense that people are not willing to give up the fight. The protests have been largely spontaneous, and it's not just been in public spaces like this. People across the country have been holding vigils in big and small groups because it's an issue that resonates across the population.
People took to the streets in at least 10 major cities. Rape is the fastest growing crime in India. An incident is reported every 20 minutes, yet the issue has been largely ignored by the authorities until now. But now violence against women in India is making headlines around the world. The politicians from all factions are paying attention. India's Prime Minister has said this young woman's death will not be in vain. She's now being called India's daughter, but she spent her final hours in a hospital in Singapore with her family by her side. She suffered from severe organ failure. Gang rapes are a daily occurrence here, but the savage nature of the attack shocked the nation. It happened on December 16th after she boarded a bus with a male friend. She was severely beaten with an iron rod and gang raped for almost an hour before being thrown out of the moving vehicle. Police have charged 6 people with her murder. While the young victim's fight is over, many here feel that theirs is just beginning.